with such historical importance must be in furtherance of economic, social, and financial benefit for the residents. So is it that in naming a parish right now, when the parishes were named 150 years ago, were these things considered? More so, it is imperative that in governing a practical approach be taken combined with unanimous, narrow approach legislative procedures. Are you suggesting that government should make policies with the support of the citizens? That's not how government runs, really. Governments have to examine issues in large contexts. Some of these contexts may not even be, available to the citizens to make their decisions. She goes on to say Portmore currently do not have the privilege of imperative amenities as other parishes hold, such as a public hospital. So each parish requires a hospital, parish court, market, cemetery, etc. What is the urgency then in moving this bill? Does it therefore mean that developmental implementation requires parish status? Will other growing communities across Jamaica assume be given parish status too? That's kind of nonsensical, writer. Right? On the heels of the impending general election, the question then is there any political embezzled motive attached to the passing of the bill? I don't think so at all. I quite frankly, this was an election promise that was made to the people of Portmore. But what it is, what are the views of the citizens of Portmore? Have they spoken really? Have they spoken about this? So that is the letter of the day in the Gleaner. Not lots of consultancy was done. I am understanding from one of our listeners, Bridget. Bridget is saying that a lot of consultancy was done. All right, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what is happening, and I'm not sure why this continues to be such a political hot issue. Nonetheless, that's where it is. Let me go back to the central MP George Wright rejoins the Jamaica Labour Party. And in this society, there is a lot of hypocrisy, right? And he that hath no sin. Sorry, who is it? I'm in a meeting. Can you give me a few minutes?
Okay, all right. Right. This is about the first lock here.
Good. Yeah, he that hath no sin, let him cast the first stone. What has George Wright done that is so egregious that would prevent him from continuing to represent the people of Central Westmoreland? Right? It's not for some professor to expostulate a view. And if the people of Westmoreland, of Central Westmoreland, do not find George Wright to be a credible candidate, they will have a decision to make later on this year. All they have to do when you put George Wright up is to vote against him. But if the people agrees that George Wright is suitable and can represent them, what is the problem? Julie Claire, good morning. Morning, Keisha C. What is the problem? Yes? And has the man not made restitution? Has he not corrected the ills that he was accused of? Was he tried? Was he convicted? What type of nonsense is this? Right? What type of nonsense is this? It's a non-issue, man. It really is a non-issue. Where is Scratchy? I haven't seen him yet. Where you there, Carrot Scratch? Right? All right. Let me see if there's anything else to share with you before we go to the polls. It's 14 minutes after 9 o'clock. Of course, we go with you until 10. This is really an issue. This is really an issue. What issue, Bridget? What issue? Yeah, we're going with you until about 10, just after 10 o'clock. Yeah, nothing major coming out of yesterday's news. And of course, I'm not seeing anything in the papers. No, this is really a non-issue. Very good, Bridget. It's really a non-issue. All right. So I'm going to probably have to repeat what I say, because people are joining all the time. Firstly, based on the polls so far, 42% of respondents believe the country is heading in the wrong direction. This suggests that there is some amount of dissatisfaction among the population. As we explained yesterday, that this largely is could be linked to people's individual perception. So it's driven by various factors. On the other hand, the poll suggests that the JLP has a 10% lead over the PNP in terms of likability. So although there is a 42% wrong direction, 42% of the population is now saying the country is in the wrong direction. There is a 10% advantage in terms of likability. So people, although them say the country is going in the wrong direction, more people like the government than the opposition. So the governing party is therefore more popular among voters. I want you to be careful though, because this does not translate into actual voter support. People can like you and don't vote for you. Facts done. Good morning. We are analyzing the poll and then we are going to come to the conclusion. All of them people you see analyzing polls online, some of them don't know what I'm talking about. All right, so the likability could be related to the performance of the government. One other thing I want to ask Scratchy and people like Churchill is whether or not is this a government likability or it's a wholeness likability? Are people liking the party or are they liking the party leader? And I think that is an interesting area that needs to be looked at. Are Jamaicans liking the leader or they like the party? And the reason why this is important is because in crafting an election strategy, you want to either promote the leader or you want to promote the team. It's very important, that, for some parties, you have to put together a team and you present the team to people, or you want to promote a presidential election where you put up the leader against the other leader. Now, the Labour Party would need to determine their election strategy. However, the positive likability is linked also, I believe, to the performance of the government. However, when it comes to whether the JLP deserves a third term, it's a 50-50 split. And this is where it becomes very interesting.
Hello, neighbor. That is
and
what
requires deep analysis and look beyond the numbers. Analysis. You have to psychoanalyze what is in this now that is positive for the JLP and what is positive for the PNP. For this is how the parties discuss it, This is how the parties look at it. Let us go again. 42% of respondents believe the country is heading in the wrong direction. So this 42% is formed out of perception, people's individual perception, and is not connected necessarily to the direction that the country is going. So it is driven by various factors. On the other hand, the JLP has a 10% lead over the PNP in terms of likability. And so this indicates that the government currently is more popular than the opposition. Remember that I'm saying that this 10% lead for the JLP does not mean that it is 10 points ahead when it comes on to who do you intend to vote for. I think the nationwide team is going to be releasing those results tomorrow. However, when it comes to whether the JLP deserves a third term, the respondents are divided. So you like them 10% more. So out of every 20 voters, 10% of 20 is what? Two more persons like the party. Now, what them like about the party is what I want to examine a little bit later on. Is it that they like the party or them like Andrew Holness? Yeah? Them like Andrew Holness or them like the party? Or is it that they are satisfied with the performance of the party, of the government? And if that is so, how is it then that 42% of them are saying the country is going in the wrong direction? You see here now where it becomes a little complex. So this suggests that while the JLP is currently more popular, there remains uncertainty and some amount of skepticism. Now, this uncertainty and skepticism is explained because of the pessimistic outlook that is being painted by the persons who are seeking power. Also, that the media has not helped the government in putting before the people the optimistic Jamaica that currently exists. For example, if you go to the Gleaner today, I've been saying that I don't even see the JLP's press conference being reported on, and it has not been reported on largely. What was discussed at the JLP's press conference yesterday? The JLP, and somebody should tell me, is it the government that is calling for the resignation of the mayor of Kingston, or is it the JLP? Because we have to make a separation here. Is it the government? Is it the position of the government that the mayor of Kingston should resign, or is it the position of the Jamaica Labour Party? There's a distinction. You remember when Portia said that you must ask the PNP? She was making a distinction between the government she leads and the party she leads, and there is that distinction to be made. But if the JLP calls for the resignation of the mayor, then that's no news, man. That should make news. That should make.
The Observer had
Sorry. You're saying, Bridget?
Yeah, the Observer had a headline saying the JLP puts more pressure on mayor to resign. I think that was the headline of the Observer. But noticeable neighbor.
It's not in the Gleaner.
The Gleaner was not at the press conference. They didn't.
It doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter. That is not how the media works. You know, they do share information. Let me see that.
But hello, neighbor. Usually, whenever a press conference is announced, most of the prominent media houses, they always send a journalist. CVM was there, Nationwide was there, the Observer was there, and probably other news media. They didn't ask a lot of questions, but the Gleaner was not there, and I think they deliberately do that in order not to report it.
All right. So yes, I hear. So the governing Jamaica Labour Party stepped up its pressure on Kingston Mayor and Joswavy and leaders of the People's Assembly on Monday, insisting that the mayor resign and demanding that the opposition answers questions about questionable refunding of political activity. Somebody is saying that it is the government that is asking for the mayor's resignation. Is it the government's position? The cabinet of Jamaica? Is it the cabinet of Jamaica's position that the mayor of Kingston should resign, including the Minister of Local Government, Desmond Mackenzie, because the municipalities and the parish councils come under the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development. Is it the position of the Minister of Local Government that the mayor should resign? Because I think that distinction needs to be made because it carries greater weight. I see, if you follow social media, how it has been twisted or played on. The persons should not, if we are going to be calling, for example, for the mayor to resign, should not the Minister of Local Government be at that press conference. Who I see there is Judith Cuthbert, and of course Marlon Morgan and Senator Arthur Fitzhenry. Do you get the point I'm making, listeners? And so, Scratchy.
Yes, I.
You're late for class, you know, man. Where you been? Yeah.
I'm here, man.
You're here. All right. So I am at the point, Scratchy, where I am saying that firstly, there is a 42% of respondents believe the country is heading in the wrong direction, and that this suggests some amount of dissatisfaction among the population, driven by various factors. We discussed that yesterday. On the other hand, there is a 10% likability for the party, but this, Scratchy, does not translate into voter support, correct?
Exactly.
Right. And then when you ask the question whether the JLP deserves a third term, it is a 50-50 split. So 5 out of every 10 persons say no, and the other 5 say yes. Now, this suggests, I'm suggesting, Scratchy, that while the JLP is more popular, I am trying to figure out, is the party popular or is the leader popular? I think it is something.
Hello, neighbor. Another thing I observe, well, for myself, and when I analyze the situation and the results, no, the PMP has been campaigning for about 3-4 years now. They campaign non-stop until this point, non-stop. I don't see the JLP campaigning to its fullest yet.
But it can't, Bridget, because it is government. It is the government of the country.
Right.
You don't want the government to be in a political campaign. Governing is difficult, and governing. And let me tell you something. We need electoral reforms in this country. We need electoral reforms. We need to have a period of campaigning, right? And a period of governing. You can't be governing and campaigning at the same time.
Yes, but that doesn't go for the opposition. You understand?
But that is why I'm saying we need to look at electoral reforms. We need, in the United States, everybody know when the election is going to call. It's a fixed election day. We know when the election is going to call in Jamaica too. It's going to be called this year. The point is, could we not move to a period of electioneering, and for the rest of the time we settle down and run the country? Is what I'm saying to you? Because the PNP did campaign for 4 years.
Yes, but you can't. Okay, go ahead, Scratchy.
Neighbor, to answer your first question about if the JLP is popular, if the leader is popular. Both political parties, and Jamaica itself is a leader-centric country. We vote for leaders, and the Jamaica Labour Party and Jonas' leader is very popular. His popularity will also automatically lead to the Jamaica Labour Party become popular as well. So we have to understand that in both political parties, we look at our strategy from even before now. You see that we market the leaders are the forefront, leaders are the front runners. So yes, we have a very, very popular leader who is very, very popular. Everyone knows him, so that will automatically translate to the party being popular in the long run.
I suggest that because in terms of crafting your campaign message and what you want to put out there in the public's view, do you want to put the team JLP, or you want to put Andrew Holness, the leader, the prime minister? Do you want to run a presidential-like election where you push the leader, or do you want to push the performance of the party? How, for example, has the other ministers of government done in terms of the deliverables? How are the people seeing them? What are the perceptions of the other members of the cabinet? Do they represent the type of transformational acumen that the leader has? I was saying also that when you look at the polls, you realize that the pessimistic outlook that would have caused a 50-50 split. Because remember, listeners and Scratchy, the party is suggesting, not only a suggestion, but the facts back this up, that its performance in government is unmatched. Right?
Yes.
That its performance in government is unmatched.
It is.
And I was talking to somebody from Westmoreland today, and I must tell you the truth. I hope that I think I'm going to be having him on later on today, because he was getting me to understand that if the party thinks it wins with mass appeal, it better get its act together and go to organizing on the ground.
So true.
Because you see that 18.5 years of PNP rule, it was not that the PNP was doing well in government, but the PNP mastered organization on the ground. And I think he's going to be coming on to teach us a little bit about how you win. You can be a terrible government and win elections.
We've said that before, that government doesn't win election. It's political parties that win election.
Hear me.
Performance.
You see those runners that you have, that you give that 20 people. And this is where I think the election is going. The more I look at the polls, Scratchy, the more I realize that the Labour Party has the advantage, but they are going to have to get their work done on the ground, because I suspect that the PNP's buoyancy is because they have invested so much in the organization. You talk about the political machinery, the machine on the ground to deliver those votes.
I personally think that since 2016, the Jamaica Labour Party machinery has improved a lot.
Yes.
That's what I was going to say.
I think so. We have seen drastic improvement in the machinery of the Jamaica Labour Party. I mean, neighbor, if you look, what Jamaica need to understand, is that this Jamaica Labour Party, led by Prime Minister Andrew Holness, is taking a different approach to stuff. When I say a different approach, we're not sidelining certain things, but the approach that we're taking is more of a more formal setting. So sometimes a person might don't see or hear certain things and think that nothing is not going on, but in the background, the government is doing a whole lot. There's a lot of things put in place in this constituency right now. So no one person to think that the government is behind. We're not behind. The government is focused and steadfast and doing what it's supposed to do.
Yes. So
not the government, the party, Scotty, not the government.
The party. Exactly. Yes. Thanks for that.
Yeah, we need to distinguish between the two.
For that correction, the party.
Welcome back, Paxton. So how we are interpreting the polls, therefore, for the listeners, is that there is a pessimistic outlook that the PNP has successfully been able to infuse into the minds of Jamaicans, using their slogan, "Time Come." And it has caused some amount of confusion in many minds, because people are wondering, could we be further ahead? Could the country be better off? And the answer simply is no. No, listeners, because you have to go back to 2016 and 2012 and to see where the country is coming from. It is very important. In construction, a lot of us see the fine structure at the end of the process. But we don't realize that to do that, you had to dig up the dirt. You had to lay the foundation. And it's having laid the foundation that you begin to build brick by brick. Not true, Scratchy?
Yes,
Can I
exactly.
say something to you? Someone was telling us on a live the other day that he went to pick up his cousin at the airport. I think it was Montego Bay airport. He was coming in. And he was very reluctant because of what he was hearing. He said on IG. He specifically said on IG. When he came to Jamaica, and when he saw for himself the development, the transformation that is taking place, he has vowed to shut down his IG, because he's saying to his cousin that, listen, if I had followed IG, that's Instagram, I wouldn't come. And I came with a lot of hesitancy. But when he came, he saw a different picture of what they paint on social media. So social media, we can't say it's not working. It's working.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's a mind game. It's a mind game, and it's a minefield, and it's a difficult task, especially in an environment where minds are so easily swayed by prevailing nonsense and misinformation. I think you see that the Jamaica Labour Party needs to launch a campaign of hope, not because there is no hope, but a dismissing of the perception of negativity and a replacing of that with a message that is optimistic, that is hopeful, that gives people an aspirational view of what Jamaica is going to be in another 5 years. Telling people that we have laid the foundation, the bricks are now coming on, we are at roof level, and we are going to be tiling out this place soon. And if you stick with the process, then we're going to be moving into this beautiful building soon. Because in a competitive political environment, you are going to have this pessimistic view, which is coming out in the polls. I think that the results we are seeing is the PNP's propagandist philosophy, bearing some amount of fruit and making Jamaicans unsure, of where they are. If you send out your children to school and you have other persons telling them what you are not telling them at home, they probably will be confused. It's a cultural confusion.
And
so,
neighbor, again,
yes.
neighbor, we must also understand that politics is a tricky topic. Yeah, if you're not dieharded, most persons won't come out and defend a political party either side.
Yes.
But if you are someone who is not dieharded, you see the good work that the government is doing. A lot of these persons don't come out and normally voice their and be vocal and voice their opinion. The persons who come out with the negatives are the persons who are representative or who support the People's National Party. So I feel that persons understand, persons see what is going on, and not because we don't hear those persons talking. I don't think it's to give any credence to the PNP to think that their propaganda machine is more stronger than the positive message of the government. Come election, I think that we will say something different.
The only challenge is that polls tend to give a perception, and
but it's not reality.
Right.
Hello, neighbor. Sorry to interrupt you. Philippian wants to come up.
But I don't see her in the past. Philippians is a person who let people in. Okay, I've let her in. So then, what is the interpretation, therefore, as we move ahead? Firstly, based on the polls so far, the Jamaica Labour Party is more popular than the People's National Party. You agree with that? Yeah?
Definitely.
Right. So the poll interpretation. So remember now, we are not at the point of party standing. Likability, not because the girl like you means she going married to you, Scratchy.
No. But it's possible.
It is possible.
You have a chance.
Yeah, but it's possible. Yeah.
You have a chance.
And it depends. Hold on. It depends on how you treat her, leading up to her making up her mind. Also.
Right. So you have
next thing, Bridget. It's definitely sure that she won't go to the next person.
Yeah, she have an intention.
She don't like him, none at all. That's a sure.
Yeah, but she like you, but she has not yet made up her mind that you have not yet convinced her to marry you. But as far as the other guy is concerned, him don't stand a chance.
Yeah, him don't stand a chance.
Because you know like him. All right. So we settle with that. So the jail.
So in other words, we have a slight. I don't know if I want to use the word slight, but we have an advantage somewhere along the line.
Yes.
Well, we have done the work.
Okay.
It's just a matter of, this is where I'm really always, every election I'm really worried about the voter apathy that exists out there, and the people were reluctant to go out and exercise their right. And those are the people that I am talking to. Those are the people that I want to get involved in the whole equation.
Yeah.
So the reputation of the Jamaica Labour Party is 10% stronger among Jamaicans than the PNP. That is significant.
That is significant.
Very, very significant.
It's like I run a 100-meter race and you put Usain Bolt or Asafa Powell at 80 meters and say 100-meter where I want to go. The finish line same way, that's an advantage.
That's very significant, Clean
Let me
Green.
tell you why it is significant. It is significant because of what is called the incumbency advantage. Now, the incumbency advantage becomes even more critical at this point because of the performance of the government.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. You see, because the government has performed, one I think I'm encouraging the Labour Party to do is to make sure that all the people that speaks for it are able to articulate the successes it has had.
And if you look, neighbor, that is being strategically done. If you look at how persons are being spoken, there's a communication task force, there's a direct position where the government is the party is being strategic in who speaks and what. You can see it very clearly.
Right. So there's
and another thing, when you see like the JUTC start going into St. Thomas, start going to Linstead, start going into Castleton, it's not just done by chance. It's to allow people to say, listen, we are working, we hear your cry, and we are doing something about it. Just bear with us.
Yeah. They can actually see things happening. They don't only hear that, oh, it's gonna come. It is there. So that will help them. If they were 50-50, that would help them to make up their mind, because Jamaicans like to see things happening. Right. So there is stronger popularity with a 10% lead in terms of likability. And as we said earlier, that if someone likes you, all you need to do is to continue.
Sislin.
Huh?
No, I'm sorry, not you.
Continue doing what you're doing, and you are likely to get to convert that person into going to the polls.
Yes.
Incumbency advantage. In other words, voters are more familiar with the policies of the Jamaica Labour Party rather than the policies of the PNP. Because quite frankly, at this point, voters do not know what the PNP is offering. It is not a positive, it's not a negative. And so also that how then clean green do you correct the 42%? Now, if you are analyzing the polls, you have to ask yourself this question. Despite your performance, despite your 10% advantage, there is something to be corrected, because the perception of wrong direction is something that will require some amount of analysis and correction.
But I would say to you that over the years, and over all the elections, usually the wrong direction is usually always pointed at the incumbent.
We analyze
it has always been like this.
Yes.
And I just say, how to correct it is one. I need to understand why. Because I am sure in this case, when I would be wondering in the other case, I am sure in this case that there's nothing from the PNP to say that, well, if we change the direction, what's going to happen? Yes. There's nothing here to say that it will be better going the other way. There's nothing.
And Clean Green, what we need to understand too is that I want Jamaicans and I want to understand is that Jamaica, we have an opposition leader who's the highest paid politician in the country who has no roles or responsibility. This man has been on the road campaigning for 4 years now. And to still come up with a 10% shortfall in terms of popularity with both political parties, it shows that our message and the government work is being resonated with everyone.
Yes, really, it does. It does.
And we have to understand that. And the next thing, neighbor, we have to understand is that 42% that we're talking about, it is always going to be based on political bias. We cannot stop a person from PNP, persons who support the National People's National Party are going to always say no on our ground. I don't think we should use
I think
that
it's a
42%
Jamaican culture in
to
the
judge.
country. I don't want to bring that down to politics. I just think it's a Jamaican
culture thing. I agree with you.
culture. Yeah.
It's
People-
also a culture, but when it's a
culture,
question
man.
that is geared on a poll, it's gonna be political. It is political. Majority of those persons are political. You notice what overall report said? 76% of the persons are PNP who said government not in the right direction.
That means you have a lot of PNP over JLP out there that will support their party.
No, necessarily.
Yeah,
you ask
but if you
1,500
have
persons,
more-
we don't know where the posters went. We don't know which way the posters went. You have 1,500 persons, the posters asked, we don't know where they went. I'm not going to use 1,500 persons and judge the overall judgment of the government.
Has confirmed that George Wright's application to have.
All right. So, and before I get to the overall summary, and then I'm going to do a prediction, I want you to listen to George Davis's report. There's a truck outside my office that is giving me a little bit of problem. Because I think it is very, very interesting. These. So just listen to this, and then I'm going to come back and wrap it up.
50% say no. That's according to the latest nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools. The result comes just 8 months before the electorate is due to be called to the polls for a general election. Ricardo Brooks has been going through the data.
Laborites have been telling anyone who will listen that a third term is loading. In fact, they say it's imminent. They say Andrew Holness has done enough to warrant him being returned to Jamaica House for another 5 years. But when the Blue Dot pollsters asked 1,500 Jamaicans whether they think the Holness administration deserves the fabled third term, public opinion was split right down the middle. 50.1% said yes, and 49.9% said no. That represents an even split of 50-50. For Laborites seeking a green lining in the data, they can take some solace in the fact that those opposed to the third term have fallen by 2 percentage points from September 2024. At that time, 52% were opposed to the third term. The pollsters opine that the current even divide suggests a dynamic political landscape that could easily sway in either the JLP or PNP's favor. Considering the 2.5% margin of error in these polls, it's not hard to see why. When gender is considered, women are reflecting the JLP's best hope of continuing in government, with a small majority, 52%, saying Holness deserves another go at the helm. 48% of women are opposed. That's a 4 percentage point difference. It would appear men are saying time come. 53% of men want to see the back of the Holness government, while 47% say they should continue into a third term. That's a 6 percentage point difference. The bases of both political parties are also showing significant levels of polarization on the question of a third term for the JLP. An overwhelming 91% of PNP supporters say the Holness government should be sent packing, while an equal number of JLP supporters say the government should be returned to office. 9% of comrades would support a third term, while 9% of Laborites are opposed. But it is among unaffiliated voters where warning bells start ringing for the JLP. A clear majority, 60% of unaffiliated voters say Holness and his government do not deserve a third term. Only 40% of unaffiliated voters say the Holness administration should be returned to office. The nationwide Blue Dot poll was conducted between January 21 and February 1. The question now is, third term or time come? Only the voters can decide. Ricardo Brooks for Nationwide News.
The nationwide Blue Dot polls, powered by Total Tools. Total Tools.
You heard that? You heard that?
That was this morning.
No man, that
yesterday.
We're coming to this morning.
Okay.
So, what is this unaffiliated group that the pollsters are talking about?
I am confused about the poll.
Very confused.
The numbers
Yeah,
don't
it's
add up to me.
The numbers don't add up to me either.
I'm very
Where do you get
confused.
60% when 50.1% says that we deserve a third term? You remember that in favor of JLP as opposed to 49.9 they said, and 50.1, so almost a 50 split. How do you get 60% now? How do you get there?
And the other thing,
I mean, Clean Green, what is concerning to me is the 10 percentage point that the party is ahead of the PNP in terms of popularity. And they were coming back to it. This is not adding up.
It's not adding up. Then they probably need a Lawrence road to correct it, because
these numbers are not adding up.
From yesterday, it had me confused.
Very confusing. I mean, I don't know.
I was telling
the
my
metric
girlfriend,
or how they're
I'm
analyzing these
leaving it
numbers.
alone because I'm really confused. It's just not adding up. The numbers for me are not adding up.
How can you have a 10% lead over a political party and you're 50-50?
Yeah.
It's not adding up.
No, be careful, don't scratch, because remember that it is a likability. It's really likability, you know.
So isn't likability? If I'm going to tell you that I like the JLP party, then why now am I going to be asked the next question if they deserve a third, and I'm going to tell you no?
Yeah.
Yes.
Does not make any sense.
I'm not so sure about that either.
Yeah, that don't make sense. If I tell you that I like the JLP party, why now am I going to tell you that they don't deserve a third term? I wouldn't like them then if they deserve a third term.
If that 10% lead wasn't there, Scratchy, I would probably understand the numbers a little bit better.
And Bridget, these are some of the things that are turning our persons from polls. These are some of the things that persons don't believe with these polls.
Yes, exactly. I just don't. The numbers aren't adding up to me.
Why would I tell you that
let us listen to
a third term?
Let us listen to what they came up with this morning, and then I'm going to.
And believe Mark Golding has been doing an average job as opposition leader over the last 4 years. That's according to the latest nationwide Blue Dot polls powered by Total Tools. But despite high levels of ambivalence about the job Golding has been doing, he can take comfort in the fact that the number of Jamaicans who believe he's doing a poor job has declined significantly from the high of 51% recorded in 2022. George Davis has more in this report.
Since April 2024, the job of opposition leader comes with a cushy salary of more than $25 million per year. Mark Golding takes every cent of that salary. But when the Blue Dot pollsters asked 1,500 registered voters to rate Golding's performance at his day job, they were largely ambivalent. 41% said he was doing an average job. 36% say he was doing a poor job, while 23% rated the opposition leader's performance as good. Golding has been able to bring his job approval out of the mud of 2022 and 2023, when a high of 51% of voters said he was doing a poor job. But those voters are not ready to go with Golding. At best, his job approval has been stagnant since February last year, when 42% of voters gave him that rating. It remained at 42% in September 2024. Most troubling for the opposition leader is the fact that the pollsters found a decline in the number of respondents who say he's doing a good job. That good rating has fallen 6 percentage points from the high of 29% recorded in September last year. The pollsters say that dip may suggest Golding is having trouble maintaining positive momentum with the electorate. Golding's difficulty in escaping the average job approval rating may be firmly rooted in the fact that nearly 50% of unaffiliated voters gave him an average rating. That suggests a high level of ambivalence. 38% of unaffiliated voters gave him a poor job approval rating, suggesting high skepticism, while 14% of the unaffiliated voters believe he has done a good job. Interestingly, 30% of PNP supporters also believe Golding has been just average at his job. 8% say he has been poor, and 62% of comrades say he has been doing a good job. Unsurprisingly, the Labourites were less kind. 53% of JLP supporters say Mark Golding has been doing a poor job. 41% say he's been average, and the 6% gave him a good rating. The PNP say it's time to go with Golding. They say time come, but the data suggests voters want more from drinking the orange Kool-Aid. The nationwide Blue Dot polls were conducted between January 21 and February 1.
All right. Do you notice? And the reason why I raise this matter of the unaffiliated voters, do you notice that 37% of the 60? Did you pick that up, Scratchy?
Yes, I heard it.
Mhm.
Yes. That 37% of those persons do not want the PNP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
That only 14%. Now, unaffiliated, I suspect, are uncommitted.
Yeah, yeah.
The people we're
Undecided.
talking to.
Huh?
The people that we're really talking to.
Yeah, undecided. And no affiliation to either party.
Right. And then here is where it makes a little bit of sense to me. Because when you look at the numbers, this is where the likability becomes a 10% advantage. Because these people are basically done with the PNP, you know. It's as if irrespective of what the party does, they are not returning. Here is the overall point I want to make. That the political landscape remains competitive. Am I correct, Scratchy?
Yes, very much. Yeah. I would say that base to base, it's still competitive.
That labor rights should not think that this is a done deal.
No. We'll never get complacent.
No.
Huh?
No.
I don't think labor rights think that either.
No, I hear
Go ahead,
some
Bridget.
talking about 55 seats and all of that. It is clear from the information that we have, that we are analyzing, that the political landscape is competitive at this point.
What I'm banking on to really have confidence is that the PNP, I think, in my opinion, has reached their peak. The JLP is not out there yet to really push their messages in full force. Sorry, they are not out there as yet. The PNP, on the other hand, I think they have done what they're supposed to do, and there's nothing more else they can do. You understand me? They try to solidify the leader. They do all sorts of things, right? Now I hear Dayton Campbell saying that them supposed to fix the road. That is what they're telling people now, you know, that don't watch them because they're there to fix the road.
Okay.
That is reaching your point.
Yeah. Firstly, Scratchy, clean green, the political landscape remains competitive. Secondly, the advantage is with the JLP, but with a reduced majority.
And I'm going to contradict that, you know. You see, there's always two aspects of an election that we tend to forget until when the night of the election you wonder why it works out like that. It doesn't take more than a few votes to win a seat. When I say a few votes of majority. 1 vote, 2 vote, 10 votes. Sometimes you think about popular vote as opposed to amount of seat count. And so therefore you don't need a large percentage. You don't need a large percentage of popular votes to get maximum seats, you know. You don't need a whole heap. In other words, you don't want to say that it's 60, 65, 35 and you get a clean sweep. It don't need that large of a margin. So I am saying to you, based on how the last general election went, and based on how much seats that we have, I think we're going to be doing very well. But just that I'm advocating against is complacency. That's what I'm advocating against, because I don't want to think that, oh yes, it's a done deal and we don't go out because let me tell you something. Polls are polls, but the election is won on the day.
Great. So then, the party's prospect at winning are going to be heavily influenced by their organization on the
Thank you
ground,
very much, sir.
rather than just mass appeal.
Thank you.
A neighbor.
Yes.
I would have to agree with Clean Green. I think Clean Green made a valid point. I think the polls are more nationally than constituency based.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to understand that our governance system and our electoral system is not one that is based on who get the popular vote forms government.
Thank
It's
you.
done based on 63 constituencies.
Mm-hmm.
So one constituency can get 50,000 votes. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're in the driving seat. So we have to always remember that. Hence the reason why on election day, sometimes when we see the numbers, we are saying the polls was the same this or the polls was the same that.
Right. So then, ground game rather than mass appeal. This is especially true in Jamaica, where community ties and local relationships play a significant role in shaping voting decisions.
Yes.
And therefore, we need a strong ground game.
Come back down to the political machinery.
Yes, you have to build a robust network of local activists, volunteers to champion the party's message and policies.
So then, no neighbor, here's what I want to add to all of this now. After we had our local government election, I was taken aback based on what I knew the prowess of the JLP. I was taken aback as to what the results garnered, and what I want to say now, Jenko people, including Mr. Andrew Owens and the rest of the team, is that our timing of getting out on the road is important. We're not there until we are there. And remember that the team that is incumbent team has a disadvantage because they have two things to worry. You have to worry about government business and you have to worry about party business. And you have to know your strategically how you're going to put when you're going to put the foot down on the ground, put the foot to the pedal, or whatever term you want to use, because there's a timing that I think we got the timing wrong in the
local.
But then I know that the MPs that are not ministers, them out there working like hell right now, under the they're working.
Yes.
You just don't see the national machinery out there grinding yet.
Yeah,
and so this is why I just want to know that people just don't take it for granted. Go out there, go do your work, talk to your own people that we have to talk to. Make sure you talk to somebody every day.
I see them working out there very quietly, doing out to out. We see the pictures, so it's not like they're there twiddling their big thumb.
Thank you.
They know what is at stake.
We're gonna do well. I know that, but I just don't want complaints to come in here.
And Clean Green and Bridget, to me personally, I feel that Jamaicans has now distinguished between both parties in terms of who have the better policies and programs. Yes. I think they know that the Jamaica Labour Party has the better policy. We have made the policies. They are seeing what we can do. What the persons want now is to feel the presence of the leadership of the party on the ground now. That is what Jamaican is missing right now. That presence, that feeding the opposition, feeding the Jamaica party right now. So once we get on the ground, trust me, it's going to be a total shift in ball game. The Jamaicans see the policy, they see what is already done. They know and believe in the Prime Minister and know what he can do. They just want to feed him and see him on the ground now.
Yes.
Right.
I totally agree with you. That's why I'm saying
that I think we need to look at in terms of the analysis as I have done is that the PNP's strength is largely in urban areas, while the JLP remains very, very strong in rural communities. Okay. Here is the challenge. A lot of these people have moved out of their communities. Is what you call his rural blight, and now in the urban areas. Are they registered to vote where they now live? or do they have to go back to the rural communities to vote?
I think in every jurisdiction you're going to have that, because the opportunities are usually in the urban areas. And so I do suspect that you're going to have a lot of people having to go back to them constituencies unless they are so inclined to ensure that they have their vote under them, that they move it.
Your political machinery must know that, though, sir.
That is how the canvassing comes in.
That must know that, we are these people now.
Yeah, that is how your canvassing.
They have not moved their votes. Get them. I think the voters list closed April 31st. So those persons who are not on the voters list between now and March 31st will not be able to vote in the next election.
Yes.
You get where I'm at?
Yeah.
So now you have to be fine-tuning the machinery to see the 30 persons who are moved out of your constituency, out of your division. Where are they? They are now in St. Catherine. We are in St. Catherine. So you go into the area and you ask their families, where are they? And you have to get in contact with them, because you may not need them to vote in the constituency that they are.
Because that's the thing, right?
But they can't. They have to come back to their constituency.
They have to go back up a Moko.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying to you. Or they have to go back down to St. Elizabeth, where Witter may need them, or Rhoda may need them in Manchester. And that is what is called political organization.
Yes.
But it requires resources to do it, because you probably will have to transport these people to
it depends on how you're doing your work, because if the work is being done now, the information will be gathered early enough to find out what, because each individual have them planning. There are people who buy them plane ticket already. You have people, you understand, people who are out of the country, them coming home to vote. So it's just a matter of you being vigilant as a team, knowing where your people are, and contacting them, find out what the situation and how it's gonna go on that day. Because you can't get up and transport somebody from Hanover to St. Elizabeth or whatever. You can't do all of it. Some of them people are going to be doing these things off of their own desire.
Yeah.
I want to go and vote, and I'm going to vote. So you need to be talking to them from now.
As Bridget says, it come back down to the canvassing. To get in understanding of your canvas, understanding, and I mean, and neighbor, to add to what you said, I know Clean Green Bridget might have this experience as well. I'm in the urban side of the country, and I've seen where persons leave to go back to rural Jamaica to vote on election day.
A lot of persons.
I've seen it. The person,
I must add to you that the only time that distance thing has ever gotten to me in that I did not go and vote since I started voting in 1980. It was 1989. And it's just that I just was not able to make the move that day to go and vote. But I've always, no matter where me there, a matter of fact, even now, I vote in the same constituency which I live. I vote, but my parish council division, I have not voted in my division, and I just don't make it. I don't move it because I the same MP me vote for every time. Yeah, so I just make it stay because I don't think it really that significant.
And again, Clean Green, I've also seen situations where these persons move from rural Jamaica, coming to the urban side, and they decide that they're not changing their vote.
Yeah,
because the one when election time, them can go back down and go vote.
Yes, true.
Yeah, to vote for that MP.
I've seen situations like that.
Most of the time, they're not familiar with the MPs to where they're living, but to where they've moved to. But they're well familiar with the MP where they were born and
because Bridget, despite them moving to the urban side, they still have the granny and the uncle from a country same way.
Yes,
there's a family base there same way.
Right.
All right.
There's a family background there.
I want you to listen to this and then let me have your comments afterward. Listen.
Dr. Campbell has vowed comrades will take to the streets and resist the move.
Then come now, I was try steal the election. You can't imagine them jump up and say them are gonna beat we. And we going a local government election. I go over Portmore and we beat them street and lane. And now them want come a parliament. If you say the me I will just beat them. Can't be me no more. If the Labour Party thinks it a go so, we are gonna block up the whole of Jamaica and take it to the street because the wishes of the people must be observed.
Last
No, I don't know what Dr. Campbell means when he says. Let me listen to it again, because I'm gonna.
Neighbor, is the perception that the JLP is gonna steal the election?
I can play it again. You can play it again.
Hold on.
Play it again, neighbor.
Them want come a parliament. You say the me I will just beat them. Can't be me no more. If the Labour Party thinks it a go so, we are gonna block up the whole of Jamaica and take it to the street.
So them are gonna block up the whole of Jamaica. Is the PNP suggesting national protests?
Yes.
And that is coming from the words of the name leader. Take it to them. So this is part of the take it to them.
Why is that? Why has this not gotten more attention? I don't understand.
Because of civil society, they're in the PNP's pocket and they see nothing wrong.
The civil society is right now. Sorry to cut you. Sorry to cut you. Civil society is more interested in George Wright.
Yes.
Who was not convicted of any crime, and George Wright is being reinstated as a member of the JLP, whilst they have criminal people who are run pan and ticket, people who have been convicted.
Maybe I am going out on a limb here, but I don't think that the general secretary of one of the major political parties coming out to say that they're going to block up Jamaica is a matter that the party should not respond to. They
will not, sir.
The Jamaica Labour Party's PR arm, I would have been having a press conference.
Listen to me. You should remember that people of the comrade persuasion, people of the social and the communistic persuasion believe that they have a right to do whatever they want to do.
Because it's a PNP country.
Yes, sir, but you don't threaten protests that you're going to block. If a member of the Jamaica Labour Party had said this, let me tell you something this morning. When you guys speak of bias, I have to be agreeing, I don't think that the parties are held to the same standard.
No.
That's true.
General Secretary of the People's National Party telling supporters that the party is going to block up Jamaica. You should talk to John Williams. What was the riot that started in Jamaica in the
gas riot?
Not the gas riot. The gas riot was in the 90s. The one before that, where John Williams was a part of. Is somebody just, when you speak to her in this, it's not that they planned, it wasn't a planned thing, It just takes somebody to go out a road and just light one tire. And then, because this was said, them things say it is something that is orchestrated or it is to happen across the country. Why hasn't the party responded? Philippians.
When I say why the party hasn't decided, we have to understand now, neighbor, and this is what we want to see and understand now. Dayton Campbell, as an high-ranking member of the People's National Party, a general secretary, someone who sits on the board of the EOJ, someone who's seeking political office. What we want Jamaica to understand is Dayton Campbell is trying to bring back Jamaica in a form of election campaigning that we have long past.
Yeah.
We have passed these stages a long time and the country is not going back. The Jamaica Labour Party doesn't have to say anything. because we just the deafening silence from civil society.
No, man.
alone
But
speaks a lot.
listen. I want you guys to understand that this is irresponsible. Listen.
Very,
I don't think we can really take them for
General
granted in
Secretary Dr. Dayton Campbell has accused the Holness administration of attempting to steal an election in its push to make Portmore the 15th parish. Dr. Campbell has vowed comrades will take to the streets and resist the move.
Hold on. Dr. Campbell has vowed that comrades will take to the streets to resist the move.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, neighbor, Jamaica is seeing this and Jamaica is listening.
The people in Mandeville, what interest the people in Mandeville have against Portmore becoming a 15th parish?
Exactly so. But let me tell you something. I was informed this morning that they're gathering. There's supposed to be a big public meeting held here in Portmore tonight, this evening. So I don't get the time.
They're saying something is going on nationwide.
Anybody can do nationwide? Let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, and they're mobilizing people from out of other areas of St. Catherine to go there to try to disrupt that meeting. I heard that this morning.
We heard that they were mobilizing people to go there to destabilize and
yeah. This is the point I'm making, that this is inciting, because it's not that people have an interest in this. It is that the party is inciting social unrest in Jamaica.
Yeah.
To do what? To destabilize the government?
Exactly.
Is what is happening?
Exactly. And trust me, neighbor, Jamaica is going to send a strong message to them come election day. They will not be a part of any government in this country again.
The Holness administration of attempting to steal an election in its push to make Portmore the 15th parish. Dr. Campbell has vowed comrades will take to the streets and resist the move.
Then come now and want to try and steal the election. You can't imagine them jump up and say them are going to beat we. And we go in a local government election and go over Portmore and we beat them street and lane. And now them want to come to parliament. If you say the mayor we just beat them, can't be mayor no more. If the Labour Party thinks that it's going to go so, we are going to block up the whole of Jamaica and take it to the street because the wishes...
Them are going to block up the whole of Jamaica. This, I think,
they will not get that support, trust me.
This from the General Secretary of the PNP requires a response, and it requires a response from no less a person than the General Secretary of the Jamaica Labour Party.
Who is the Minister of Security?
The party cannot be so slow in responding to a threat like this. This I don't even think is illegal. Is legal.
You know what is so sad, neighbor. It's a development of a parish. It's something people will get whatever they want. They'll get a market there. It's a development. And this man is behaving as if something horrible we're going to do with those people in Portmore. That is the sad part about it, you know.
Yes. I mean, neighbor, it can be screwed two ways. We know he's been all right. In his choice of word, he's been very what would I say? You notice the choice of words that he used. He didn't say we're going to block the roads in Jamaica, we're going to block up the whole of Jamaica. Protest is not illegal. Protest is something that can be done peaceful as well. So
you can't block up, you can't block. No, you can't.
He might screw it. He might screw it that way.
Illegal.
No, not to justify what he's saying, neighbor, but he might screw it that way as if that's what he's talking. Because if you notice, he didn't clearly say black roads in Jamaica and stuff like that. But again, I'm okay if the party doesn't say anything. I think it's civil society who should come out and stuff like this.
No, sir.
You will never. They jump up yesterday when they heard about George Wright. All this lady, I don't even know her name. From
who jump up? Yes, and civil society.
Everybody,
and them.
Yeah. Right? Everybody's out there yesterday when they heard that George Wright was reinstated to the party.
Dayton Campbell will meet his Waterloo come election day.
They would never.
Come election day, Dayton Campbell is going to meet his Waterloo. Trust me.
Somebody saying that PNP is having a press conference.
Yes, they're having a press conference about George Wright, the females, the PNP women group movement.
Yeah, okay. I hope they consult Natalie. I hope she's a part of it.
And Michael Phillips.
Because she was charged.
And also, what's his name?
Joel and Sylvia.
Yes, that killed his wife.
Who is it alleged that he killed his wife?
And they did not say, a matter of fact, they tried to cover it up.
Where was the PNP woman movement in all of this?
Yeah, they tried to cover it up.
Well, guys, I am having a problem here because I see the PNP, their press conference has not started as yet. I'm going to monitor it, but I think the Jamaica Labour Party, a response is required today about this blacking up of Jamaica. I don't know that we can countenance that type of threat without a response. And as I said to you guys, it only takes one man downtown to go outside and put a fire on the road and light it. Yes? And then everybody across Jamaica here say protests are going because the General Secretary said we are going to block up Jamaica. And then you start here protests happening all across the island. It just mushroom. Okay, and so we have to be careful how we speak from the political platform. We have to be careful of what we are, the message that we are sending to people.
You're right. You're right. And actions like this, Jamaica loses.
Yes. Yes. And you talk about gerrymandering. Listen, man. I'm trying to find the tape of that George Wright matter.
When
Bill, the Portmore leg for people to pay to go home and pay to go back there, everybody was silent about it, right? Everybody, nobody, it wasn't anybody's concern. But now it's a development situation and they're gonna block road. I don't know. It's so sad.
It's not the first that we have seen this type of rhetoric from Dayton Campbell. He did it in 2020, coming into the election 2020, and we'll see what happened to him. He lost a seat, and he had to move to a next seat. And trust me, that's going to happen to him again. He's going to lose come this year whenever the Prime Minister call election again. We're leaving Dayton Campbell to fall on his own sword.
Good morning,
and trust me, he will.
Another thing,
you can give One Love a talk, please.
Yeah, 1 minute. I was just gonna say something. Remember when 1 minute, One Love. Let me just say this. 1 minute. Remember when Portia came out in a meeting and said she's a stepping razor and she paid for it. Go ahead, One Love.
I don't know if these things sometimes slide by and we don't pay much attention to them. I'll go and make some damning statement over the weekend about the IC and the GG. You know, he's going to look. He said that he's the one who drafted the IC, the legislation for the IC, which I agree. And he's saying that it's only the Governor General can recommend somebody to lead the IC, but the JLP now want to bring in some top labor, right, to take over the IC, and he's going to visit the GG to tell him he must be careful of what he's doing. He must do the right thing for Jamaica. I didn't know that Mark Golden was an advisor to the GG.
He's out of order.
Did you know that, my neighbor?
Well, I didn't hear the comment, and I'm not so sure that can be.
Look here, please listen to it.
Huh?
Please go and listen to it.
Yes. Philippians probably could help me.
He's talking about political interference.
I believe in terms of recommending persons, I believe both the Prime Minister and the opposition leaders are saying to who becomes it. They have to both agree on it.
No, what happened is he even clarified himself. He contradicts himself on the stage. Look, the GG recommend somebody, and let the opposition leader and the prime minister know what he's doing. They can object, but
Yes,
their
they can
objection
object,
doesn't
yes.
necessarily.
Yes.
But the objection is it can be null and void. The GG don't have to do what they recommend.
Yes,
Or
yes.
what they suggest.
Hold on.
But one love.
I found the clip. I found the clip. Hold on, Bridget. I found the clip with the George Wright thing, because this is why the PNP is live this morning. Here is it.
Wrote St. Andrew. She was speaking during a JLP media briefing on Monday.
In other news now, appalling. That's how gender activist Professor Opal Palmer-Dissa is describing the reinstatement of George Wright into the Jamaica Labour Party JLP. The JLP made the announcement of Wright's return in a media release yesterday. More in this report from Shalois Michael.
The Central Westmoreland MP was plunged into controversy in 2021 after it was alleged that he was the man seen in a viral video beating a woman with a stool. George Wright has neither confirmed nor denied the allegations. The matter stalled after an investigation by the police did not result in any charges being laid against him. Wright later left the JLP and became an independent MP following mounting calls for him to resign. But he has now been welcomed back into the Labour Party fold. That decision has not gone down well with Professor Palmer-Dissa.
We need to decide as a people and as a government what we stand for. And I think it is appalling. I think it should not be allowed. Yeah, I just think we as a people, we have too many problems. You know, the rape and the beating of that young lady last week is an indication that we're saying to the society we don't take these things seriously.
The JLP says Wright was readmitted following mitigating actions. It did not say what those actions were. However, it's understood that Wright has undergone counseling. But Professor Palmer-Dissa says the move reflects a lack of integrity on the part of the Holness administration.
I think to have him return without some kind of formal counseling, apology, acknowledgement is to say we're willing to brush this under the carpet, and we're willing to have people in government who have been known to do harm to women and to allow that to continue. There is an obligation that our ministers, our governmental representatives set a standard, and set a standard that is in keeping with our public face of morality, our public decry of abuse and violence. And if we don't hold to that, then anything goes. It's a very sad reflection and to me an indication of lack of integrity and backbone on the government's part.
Meanwhile, the gender and development specialist, Dr. Nadine Spence, says there is something morally wrong with the return of Mr. Wright. She was speaking on Nationwide this morning on Monday.
I might feel that it's a moral issue in respect of George Wright. As a women's rights activist, I might say, I think that looks bad. For me as a woman looking at the government, I don't know that I am totally convinced that this government puts issues of women's rights at the center of its deliberation.
Shalois Michael for Nationwide News.
You're listening to the news on Nationwide at 5.
I don't want
After these.
I don't want to hear.
I don't want us to call anybody's name up here and make any comparisons. Okay? Let me tell you this. Philippians, let me tell you this.
Yes.
There is nothing immoral about George Wright rejoining the Jamaica Labour Party.
I agree.
Hold on. The allegation against George Wright was never taken to court. As a matter of fact, the person who is alleged to have made the allegation is now married to George Wright. Okay? There is nothing appalling, Professor. And Nadine, it is not a moral issue. In every relationship, including mine, there are issues that can arise that may or may not result in the matter that George Wright is alleged to have done. Fact of the matter is that the people have taken steps to include counseling Yes? So where is reconciliation? Where is restitution? Where is forgiveness? And ultimately, it is left to the people of Central Westmoreland to determine the bona fide of Mr. George Wright. And if they accept George Wright as their members of parliament, the people of Central Westmoreland do not find it appalling and they do not find it a moral issue. I think the argument rests there. Go ahead, Philip.
Neighbor, I think we have
Yes,
two females.
hold on. Yes, I did not see Mr. Wright on the video. Up to this day, no one can identify if that is Mr. Wright, right? It is just pure allegation. So why am I going to hold this against Mr. Wright? He's married to the person that complained, made a report at the police station. Himself also made a report, right? They were in relationship issue, but I did not see Mr. Wright on that video. I did not. Nightingale, were there, looked like you're the third person in the relationship, but I did not see Mr. Wright on that video.
Bridget, what's your take on this as a female, Bridget?
Listen, from day one, I am on Wright's side. Shit happens, right? But as for me, as Philippian said, I don't know who was on the video, right? But things happen. Okay, he stepped aside. He went. He did his counseling, right? He got married and he's living a decent married life now. I don't see nothing wrong with it. That's why I really don't take part in these conversations, you know, because for me it's null and void, right? The man was not charged, right? If it was charged, probably we could say, okay, he was criminally charged. He was not charged. Move on. Just like Mark Golden is saying that whatever happened in the case where MC is a non-issue, this is a non-issue for me too. So I won't.
No, but I want to know, why aren't we calling out Dayton Campbell? He was accused. He was accused of playing with people, underage children, right? Children. Allegedly. The court nothing, because they're going to higher court with it. They're going to higher court with it, right? So why are we not holding him accountable still? George Wright was never accused. He was never charged, right? It's all allegations.
Other one question, neighbor, Philippian and Bridget. Sometimes, guys, it's just politics. What should we prefer? Someone who is not who was not charged, and we have an ex-party who is putting a persons who are convicted drug dealer. You know the impact that drugs have on a country and a society and a whole.
Too much double standard, yes. Too much double standard. Look on with the other one, Sylvia, who unalive his wife.
Well, that matter is before the court.
Yes, alleged, Judge. They have alleged, but how can you come out and speak about one situation where a person is not charged, again, situation where several persons have been convicted and charged?
But the difference between us, Scratchy, even though Sylvia is before the court, they did not come out and condemn his behavior. They did not. And he was charged. He's going to have his day in court, of course. But they did not come out and condemn it.
Bridget,
they all sat there and tried to cover it up.
Again, Bridget, this is just the hypocrisy of civil society. This is just the hypocrisy of civil society at its highest.
That is why it's a non-issue for me, Scratchy, and none of those people, including Nadine Spence, they should all of them should take a seat right at the back and leave us alone.
Yeah, it's not a moral issue at all.
Don't say Jamaica civil society here, say the PMP civil society.
It is not a moral issue. Can we get back? Can we get back though? Because it's 23 minutes to 11 o'clock. Can we get back though to analyzing what we have before us in the poll? So the party's prospect of winning are high, but it's going to depend on the party's ability to organize the ground rather than mass appeal. And so I was talking to this gentleman from Westmoreland this morning who has promised to come on. I don't see him yet, to explain to us how it is that you deliver votes into the ballot box. Because I think the ground game is going to be very critical going forward, especially if you find that the PNP is doing better in terms of their own organization. We probably, I wonder if I can call him and ask him to come on. So to stay ahead, I think the party needs to adapt their strategies to engage with voters, leveraging technologies and social media to complement their traditional ground game. I am calling Philippines. I don't know if you have any link in the party for the party to respond to the you see all this press conference that the PNP is having now. It requires a response.
We have touched the ground. We have dominated the social media space, neighbor. We again, the country knows what we are doing. The country knows that the government is in good stand and everything. It's just one thing the PNP is doing that we are not doing right now, and that because we are waiting on a national campaign to be launched and the budget and the Prime Minister is busy and stuff right now. It's just to hit the grounds, hit the towns, the cities. That is what Jamaica is waiting on. And trust me, neighbor, whenever the Prime Minister and the team touch the ground, it's a different ball game.
Someone is asking any further update from yesterday's poll findings.
No, I think 12 o'clock. I think the ones the latest is that we have Mark Golding getting at 42%. 42% saying that he's not doing a good job. That's the one that came out this morning.
They say he's doing very bad among women. I can tell why when I look at it.
The party has a 6% advantage among women, but among the young people, the Labour Party has the advantage there too. I did not get a chance to analyze that data. The one I had, I analyzed is the 50-50 split. So when it comes to whether or not the party deserves a third term, 50% of Jamaicans are saying yes, they deserve a third term, and 50% are saying they do not deserve a third term. I find that to be amazing, you know. That half of Jamaica. Okay. Hello.
I know you mute.
Yeah, I find it interesting that half of Jamaica are of that opinion. Why would half of Jamaica be at this point uncertain about whether or not the government deserves another term? Protecting Jamaica, are you there?
Good morning, family. Morning. Bless up on yourself.
Morning. 50% of Jamaicans are saying that the party does not deserve a third term. Why? How come?
I'm not too worried about that.
Not worried about that.
The PNP have told the Jamaican people for 4 years why the JLP should not get a third term. The JLP have not yet told the Jamaican people why they should. And so far, I have a different viewpoint from some persons that I hear lamenting on the polls. So far, at this point, the poll numbers that the party is enjoying now, because I don't believe that there's anything in these numbers for the party to feel bad about.
Yes.
The poll numbers that the party is enjoying now, which is indicating that there are very favorable numbers for the party going into a third term, It is not easy to even win a second term. What says a third for any political party worldwide?
But the incumbency factor seems positive for the party, though. Protecting.
Right. Yes. So
which is amazing, you know, because you are rightly pointing out that winning a third term is not an easy feat at all.
Never.
But for the party to be more popular than the PNP, going for a third term is amazing.
Right. So, you know, when you look at the raw numbers, it is encouraging understanding that the PNP have spent 4 years doing island-wide tour. They have repeated this tour about 10 times already for 4 years, trying to convince the people of Jamaica why the JLP should not get a third term.
Mm-hmm.
The JLP, on the other hand, haven't started campaigning yet on why we should get a third term.
But they don't need to campaign protecting.
No, we have
because no, wait. They are governing, and so governing itself is campaigning. You know.
Yes, but history have taught me that when it comes on to the Jamaica Labour Party, we better talk and we better vote.
We have to talk.
Yes, history teach me that. Because
outside of the formal campaigning, the point I'm making is that the performance of the government.
Yes, people see that.
See that, right?
People see the performance, and people are connecting the dots as it relates to the performance. Edward Siaga did a care bucket pan his head after Gilbert, a care water help people. And he thought that with such a recovery in such a record time, and the economy still doing well, that he didn't have to do much.
Mm-hmm.
He never had to run up and down much and talk. And that worked against the Jamaica Labour Party. I do not believe that Andrew Holness is going to do that this time around. He might go out there. Him start jog already. He might get fit.
Exactly.
Protecting. We did young, maybe I'm naive at 89 when it's the only election that I did not vote in. And I could not believe that we could win that. We never win that election. I could not believe. Based on how Mr. Siaga had handled the economy and how they turned around this country after Gilbert. And so therefore, me really I think about everyone when I make a vote for today. The complacency is what I don't want. And I'll talk against it.
Wait. Protecting Jamaica. I want you to continue the analysis though. Because I want you to help us to understand the 50-50 split at this time.
Which is a 50-50 split at this time is one of the best positions that the government.
In terms of should the party get a third term or not, half of Jamaica are saying yes. And you are suggesting that 50% is a positive for the party.
This half of Jamaica is, when we look at it, this half of Jamaica who agrees that the party should get a third term is agreeing that the party should get a third term in the middle of one of the most orchestrated and sustained negative campaign against the government ever. The other,
especially the party leader.
Right. The other 50%.
The party leader himself.
Yeah, hold on.
Protecting. Orchestrated, sustained, negative campaign.
Yes.
Wow.
And the other 50%, who says that the party should not get a third term is also an effect of the same campaign. So when you put the two numbers together and you look at them, those who support the government, they are clouding out, they are literally zoning out the noise that says not to get a third term, and the other 50% that says not a third term are actually sucking up all the noise that says not a third term, because because negative really sells. But they have been fed this diet without any pushback from the party in an official way, so to speak. So as I said to my fellow Laborites on other lives, that these poll numbers are encouraging for the party, and it is us, bloggers and vloggers, who should be proud of ourselves, because these numbers keep the party viable because of what we have been there. The party all know the party now. The party just started.
You think that it is the bloggers or bloggers, whoever you call them, that is largely responsible?
Yes, I do. I do, because the party all know don't start nothing. The party just keep two conference. Don't start nothing. The party just keep two conference. One last.
Let us listen to Protect Him, because I haven't heard him yet. So Protect Him. The 10% likability vis-a-vis the 50-50. How do you square that, and then you put into the mix a 42% that is saying that the country is going into the wrong direction? Those are the figures we have.
Again, the PNP have put together a messaging that have been entirely negative, primarily targeting the leader, but on a whole targeting the JLP. If you are any diet you are fed, a matter of fact, if you go to medical school, if you learn medicine and medicine you're going to learn. Let me use another analogy. Science has proven that it is how you eat that determines whether your body is healthy or not.
Yes.
So if you drink a lot of oil, come see some people cook, and them a cook 1 dozen ackee and then use 1 buckle of oil. So if you eat a lot of oil, your cholesterol will go through the roof and you end up with some illnesses. The point is, Jamaica has become a lab rat for the past 4 years.
Lab rat.
And the main scientists have been the PNP, and the experiment that they have been doing is using negativity to steer the outcome of how people think and what people sees. Now, when you have a constant, continuous, I've never seen the PNP this active around the country. I was expecting that Mark Golding would be 20% out ahead of Andrew Holness by now. Because to be twisting and turning and crisscrossing the country for 4 years continuously, every week the PNP there's somewhere do something. Tour. No, it resonated more than 50% early on. But as
in other words, the JLP is on a comeback.
Right, but as what is happening is literally the PNP, they're killing their own selves, because now the scales are being peeling away and people see that they're just a lot of talk and no substance, and therefore the doom and gloom that they're preaching, a lot of people not seeing that and not feeling that, even though we had survived a pandemic which took 3 years out of the Jamaican economy, and then survive an hurricane that take another 6 months, and then Raphael we had to take about 4 months. People really not seeing that doom and gloom. And then the politics is changing nationally, where more middle class are emerging because of Andrew Holness' prosperity economy, and the middle class really pay attention to the real issues in the economy. And then now, that has to do with the negatives that feed into the 50%. But then we talk about the 10%, it is just a result of those who really are paying very close attention, who cannot be moved by whichever rhetoric is out there. And then when you talk about the 40% that says the country is going in the wrong direction, let me put it this way. Is there ever a time in politics anywhere that the bigger number or close to half any population have ever believed that the country is not going in the wrong direction? And has that ever affected the outcome of an election? It was almost 40% in 2020 said the country going in the wrong direction and just sweep out the whole country. It was about 37%.
So is it 10%? Is it 10% likability? Andrew Holness factor, or is it a JLP factor? Are the people liking the JLP government, or they are liking the leader?
It is the leader. It is a leader factor. Our politics in this part of the world is mostly leader-centric, and that is something that we really cannot hide away from. It is something that we really have to embrace. Our politics is a leader-centric politics, and that's why you see the PNP spend so much time trying to put Mark Golding out there and to position him different from the Butu that he is, because he is a Butu.
The party internal polls are showing that your leader is 12 percentage points more popular than Mark Golding.
But it's
obvious in line with the blue dot numbers, which are suggesting 10%.
Right, and again, as I said, we have to take comfort into the fact that the likability that Andrew now enjoys is springing from the fact that Mark Golding is not likable. So you have the two put up in front of the Jamaican people, and the Jamaican people are actually deciding now, close to an election, that them not like Mark Golding. A matter of fact, Andrew is remaining likable without doing much or saying much yet. Because if we are to be honest, for 4 years, Andrew is relatively silent. So it is Mark Golding projecting himself out there on the Jamaican people, is actually showing the Jamaican people that there's very little about him to be liked. And no matter how they package him and recreate him.
Protecting Jamaica, that the prospect of the party winning a third term is higher than 50%.
Yes, it is. And we will begin to see that start showing up when the party actually launches a campaign. The message, remember again, guys, it is our messages that are out there as vloggers, The party not start no messaging yet, So that's why I said this is our poll, and I strongly believe that it is our poll. We agree.
I agree with you. Suggested earlier, protecting that timing is important.
Yes.
Timing is important. We are at February, March, April, May, June, July, August. We are going to get into the independence celebration. When is the time? When time will come to the Labour Party?
The time is now, but it again, not because the time is now, it means that the strategy has to be fully open. You launch not by just switching on the engine and get going. You launch by warming up the engine, make it fire, and then you prepare to take off.
Yes.
We see the young people, young Jamaica, G2K, they're launching the chapters right across parishes. And over time, we will begin to see a kind of ticking up of the activities.
And protecting a neighbor over the time, the PNP has had more. The PNP as leader has always been more popular than the Jamaica Labour Party leader. At first, we have a leader now. We saw dominant in his popularity in Andrew Holness. The Manleys, the PJs, the Porsche. It's always their popularity that carry that extra swing towards the country for them. So we have a leader now who is very popular.
So protecting. You don't think that the election is going to be competitive?
Right now, we're seeing the competitiveness with only one side playing ball. I do not believe that it is as competitive as
the
pundits are putting it. The pundits are putting it in a way to say that it is tight and it is going to be close.
But the party's own internal poll protecting only give you a 5%.
The party's own internal poll, I believe, depending on the questions that we're asking that poll, is a conservative reflection of what is really happening out there on the ground. When I can tell you that I believe that the PMP will lose maybe 3 or 4 of the seats that they have out of the 14 now. There's no competition there.
No. What you say?
Yeah, I can tell you that. And when I can say to you that there is no way. I have been trying to look through the numbers. You see, because let me tell you something, you know, I'm a very busy man sometimes, I tell you. But guess what? I pay close attention to these 18 seats that the JLP picked up from the PMP in 2020. And I am going to be very honest with you guys. I do not see out of them 18 here, I don't see one where the PMP can win back. May I be frank with you? Me not see one. I mean not even talk about the others that the JLP had before. Because them there, no matter what kind of crisis the PMP want to try to project out there that are in these seats. Me see them the other day I try to say, oh, Central Clarendon will never vote for PMP. Them say over Arlisha seat, nah go ever vote for PMP. Winter go retire after this. That's what I believe. Because the amount of beating him get. The only fight that I know will be very tight in Manchester are Rhoda and Chin. And why Rhoda? Yeah, why Rhoda? It is traditionally a PMP seat. And then the people...
And they don't wake up.
Right. Usually people who support the PMP, they are back in the PMP.
She has been such a good MP, though protected.
Yes.
You guys can't
one of the best. She is one of the best among the 18.
Then why are you so
because of the influence of the Don, I think.
Because of the influence in the central part of central Manchester. Even though, you know, the truth is that the people I know from there have said that it doesn't matter what the PMP want to do and who they want to influence.
I am going to send somebody down to central Manchester to check something.
They are going to make sure that they vote for Rhoda because Mr. Rhoda and some hillside I climb up and all stop up throw water in a tank. People are using
it would be a tragedy. It would be a tragedy if she
money. It is going to Manchester because in the local government election the PMP spent about 700 million in Manchester. The entire Manchester.
Wow.
In the local government election. Now them now go play with it. And Peter Bunting now with him big wallet, they over South. Chin can win South, but because of the money that the PMP planning to spend over South, it is going to be a dark fight over South. But Chin can win back. No matter what you hear happening with Chin over there, he can win. The PMP
because South has never been a runaway seat, you know.
Never.
And it has changed hands. It's only Northwest that is, I think, is the safest one.
I want to believe that the groundwork
is that one of them that you think that they can lose, Northwest?
As I said to you before, I am very careful in thinking, I even saying that there are any of the seats that the JLP hold currently that can.
No, man, but you said that there are 2 of the 14 that the
and I qualified saying that because of the money that are projected to be spent in those seats. The money.
Protecting JA, a seat that we ought to be watching keenly is the one with Damian Young in Manchester. We are going to watch that seat.
That's Northwest.
Yeah, Michael can lose that seat. From all indications right now, it seems as if Michael is in trouble in that seat.
That's my understanding, but I've been trying to check it out and looking at the history of Northwest. it really seems an uphill task. But I've been getting some information that Young has made significant progress on the ground here.
It is as a result of what Young is doing, but it's not only that. There are some other forces at play inside here. Michael Phillips's family, his mother's side of family, they have split away from the PNP and they're giving the PNP hell in there. So there's a whole lot of different wrestling back and forth in that scene. The peers are not happy with the PNP right now. The peers are not happy.
Excuse me for checking.
Can I talk to Prosperity Polly from Manchester? Prosperity Polly, if you're listening, I want to talk to you.
Oh yeah. We're talking about some seats now. I've always been curious about what's going to happen in Northwest. Is Northwest you call it? Where St. Anne, where Lisa. What is happening there? So, what do you have any information about this?
I don't have any much information, but from what I understand is that lady, that foundation lady that Mark Golding and Peter Bunting wrestled out of the party, the name of Lydia Richards, and she went independent. Her problems with the party is going to cause the party some problems there, because remember, Lisa Anna technically lost that seat in 2020.
Basically, yeah, it's a recount. She won it back on
32. Right, and won it back on a recount at 32.
32 votes.
It is not that strong as it used to be for the PNP anymore.
And protecting JA, that was with a late candidate. Because remember, the Prime Minister removed the first candidate because of the COVID violation.
Right, the Prime Minister removed Ryan Simpson. So that candidate went in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, before the election.
2 or so weeks before the election, or 3 weeks.
Exactly.
So the JLP, that is one of the seats that the JLP is going to pick up, I think. A matter of fact, I think we're up for some surprises, people, because
protecting JA, that's the only one I don't know if I want to agree with you with that one. Because that seat, protecting JA is original. Because remember, even in 1980, when the swing was totally against the PNP, they held on to it. So I'm not too sure. And probably you may know much more about the candidate that is down there than I. But I'm on 50-50 with you on that one, protecting JA.
What about Mr. Lawrence from Westmoreland?
We're going to have some surprises. We are going to have some surprises. If I tell you now that Philip Palwell is fretting out at East Kingston, would you believe?
That sounds weird. That sounds weird.
Can I interrupt just to talk about Manchester? I need to go to work now. So
Manchester, yes.
Well, and let's Riga go ahead. Riga, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for allowing me on this program. And let me say to the host, you are running an excellent program. You are cut above the rest. Thank you for the opportunity. Moving on, where Manchester Central is concerned, you see, both parties have an 8,000 vote base. I want you guys to take a little, give me a little run here. St. Albin Bartlett did not campaign, you see, and he got 8,000 plus votes. That is the same amount of votes Rhoda got campaigning. So you have a 8,000 hardcore base. Both the JLP and the PNP have that. You see, if Rhoda can hit Belfield division with a 1,500 majority over the PNP, she win the seat. That is the strategy she have to use, because the PNP is the Belfield division is the PNP blanket, the Manchester Central. So if Rhoda has a blanket of among Knockpatrick, Mandeville, and Royal, that division, with a 1,500 majority before she hit Belfield, she gone with the seat.
So Rick,
Rick,
I'm sorry.
Hold on. Me just go south, and me can't there too long. South Manchester. The blanket for the PNP is Newport division. And I have a great concern with Alligator Pond division, which was stronger leaning to the Jamaica Labour Party. What I looked at in the parish council election, the PNP got 2,200 plus votes to the JLP, 1,700 and something. Don't hold me to the end figures, but there's 2,000 plus to 17 something. That is my concern. God's Grovetown does not negate the numbers that they got in Newport division. Because Newport division, the numbers escape me though, but Newport division, they ran away with that particular division. So if the JLP can use a Grovetown division to negate Newport division, Porus is marginal. But Alligator Pond division will need some work for the Jamaica Labour Party to take home South Manchester. That's how I see the picture painted. But how I look also at the Parish Council election, the PNP maxed out its returns in South Manchester. So
Manchester, Southern Porus was 1,436 for the JLP, 1,402 for the PNP.
PNP. So you see that kind of
1%. 1%. In Grovetown, Grovetown, it was Labour 1472 and PNP 1245.
All right, so the Newport division. Oh, now tell me the
Newport
numbers.
was 1903 for the PNP. So the PNP won Newport by close to 20%.
Right. So there and then, you see, you have to have that blanket. You have to have a street to negate a JLP, like a Grovetown division to negate.
Yes, to make
but in terms of the amount of people living in Grovetown versus Newport, and Newport is like a little capital. Newport is like a little capital down there, and it's more populated, and a lot of middle class people are living up in Newport, and Porus too.
Yes, but which means that we need to
Porus is marginal.
Yeah.
Porus is marginal. I think protecting Jamaica is correct when he said that the northeastern is going to be safe. I think so too. I think
we know that's good. But I'm just talking about South and Central.
Craighead, Christiana, and Walderston are going to swing back. But when it comes down to northwestern, Spurtree, New Green, Johns Hall, and Mile Gully. Mile Gully is the PNP is winning that by 20%.
But host, I'll tell you something. The organization going to be key. Because Mile Gully is really a JLP division, but organization is what is beating us down there.
Surprised, and I've been saying that in terms of the ground game.
Yes.
The ground game is going to be very. That is why I think protecting Jamaica is giving an optimistic view, but I still feel that the ground game is where it is at.
Exactly.
All right, so Trigger, I wanted to ask you something. When you were talking about Central. I grew up in Belfield, so I went to school. Right now I'm property up there, but I haven't been back there for many years. But when you said something like, if Rhoda can get 1,500 more votes of Belfield, is that possible up at that place there? That orange place?
No. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You had the other 3 divisions.
Yes, Ryan Patton place is a different thing.
Before she hit Belfield on the count, she
yes.
must have a 1,500 majority hitting Belfield. Because PNP now get 2,000 votes up there. JLP make I tell you point blank. Where I get about 1,100, 1,200. PNP get 1,500 votes. But just to be on the safe side, always have a 1,500 lead on the PNP.
So you're saying coming off a long hill there, we can come off with a 1,500 lead?
Hear me I say. Before you start to count Belfield division, have a plus 1,500 before you start to count Belfield division votes. That is
I get
PNP
you.
And JLP. You understand what I'm saying?
I get you now. Okay.
So there's about 4,000 votes up in Belfield.
Yeah, and that is the smallest of the 4 divisions in terms of population.
So there's about 4,000 votes up there, and you are saying that if you can split it in Belfield.
In a manner of speaking, because they will always they'll have a hardcore 1,500 up there. But the JLP can merely pass like 1,100-1,200 votes on a good day. But I'm just saying you don't bother count on the Belfield JLP vote. Use the other divisions who are more populated, who are more.
Yes, I get you good now. I get you.
You understand? Get
like
your
Royal Flat.
Not Patrick.
Royal Flat have about 6,000. 6,000 votes,
Yes.
And Mandeville proper too.
And Mandeville, I think, is more populated than there. Don't hold me to it. I'm just saying, I think.
Mandeville don't have so much.
Okay, but Royal Flat is
I think part of the challenge with Mandeville is that it's the upper class.
Yeah.
And
but they have a tendency to lean to the Labour Party, you know. But those people, because you know them have it, them not really come vote. But if your ground game is good, you can move your people, you know.
You can move them.
Yes.
Yes, and then in Knockpatrick, Knockpatrick has about nearly 6,000 too, you know.
Yes. And then again, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm a person who believes in a realistic projections. When you talk, you know, parish council election, you know, really excite people to go vote like that. When you have a councillor who going to tell you, say, boy, I'm going to give you 3,000 votes out of one of them divisions. I was like, come on, man, do better than that. You know what I mean? Do better than that. Anyway, you get about 1,600. You understand? You have to basically say 48%. Project.
But before you go, my brother, do you think that the national campaign can buttress these constituencies and create a high turnout?
I strongly believe so, because tell you what, you have more people working, because based upon what I have gleaned from that area, you have much more people working. People have their own money. Yeah, so much things going on there right now. I do believe that people don't want to change from what's going on there now. So because when you go to that mark boarding right now, you know, you ask yourself, what if? Because up till now they don't put no cards on the table, what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? So I am a person like this, you know. You can't show me more than you can tell me. So nobody, and even him not tell me nothing for me even think about something. But in terms of the JLP, I am seeing what is happening. So
I would love it if the JLP could.
There you go. Anyhow,
the business
duty card. Big up yourselves, guys. Keep safe as you go. Keep safe.
All right, Rick.
Yeah. As I said, I just wish the business community, which is a community, I think that sometimes lack of daisical when it comes to voting. I think they need to be brought to the table for a discussion. The business community need to understand that their vote is also important in Jamaica going forward.
They know and they
that doesn't want to join in the line.
They know and they vote. They vote, you know.
Okay.
But the truth is, they are among the smallest group who votes in any election.
So protecting, has the party confirmed the candidate for Northeastern Manchester?
By the end of this month, within another week or two, them going to wrap up all of them somewhere. What I'm sure about, because I follow the Prime Minister very closely, he has been meeting. It's just not something that the pan news or make the news any at all. He has been meeting to trash out these differences in these seats that needs to be finalized. And some of the meetings have reached, they are way advanced. And some of the meetings are just on the way. I mean,
what is happening over there in Christiana? Why you were losing by what, over 12-13%?
I mean,
in the local government election.
I have a realistic view to these things based on the information that I have. You see, let me tell you something. Manchester was targeted. $1 in a local government election with 700 million alone in Manchester.
So what was the party's response? You have to respond. You're going to have this same...
Yes, the party have to respond, but separate and apart from that, you have Ardlishaw, because that now Ardlishaw seat. You have Ardlishaw who has been sick for the past 2.5-3 years, who not do much on the road, him not so very active. And there was one point where the discussions were that the party's machinery actually came to an halt in the seat. When Ardlishaw was active and he was up and about, the machinery was very active and moving about, and you know. So what happened is that Ardlishaw got sick and everybody from all angles did attack will get the seat and what. So that created a little bit of
uncertainty.
A problem. Yeah, so you know, closer to the election now, the 2-3 weeks before the election, you know, they try to rev up back the machinery and get things back on track. then this candidate in a Christian, I think the people then they just want somebody else. You know, so there's a whole lot of different factors. So what happened, you know?
There's one Harrison.
Right. So what happened while you have all of them things they are going? All the PMP needed to do when you have this grunt labor right who sit down and decide that they nah, support this a candidate and what, the PMP just need to come in with the extra dollars them and get for them vote out. That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then in Walderston, the party only won Craighead in Northeast.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Yes. I mean,
you think Walderston are coming back?
Nationally, it will be different. It's
yes.
Again, if you have $2 billion and you're targeting 15 divisions, it's easy.
Yes.
You have to have maybe 25 billion for target 63 seat. You know?
I was talking to someone yesterday and they were telling me that the party coffers not so strong. How could that be?
Which party?
Your party.
Brother,
I believe that.
Brother, we have to be careful who we talk to and where them attack say.
Yes, exactly.
Because if almost 100,000 businesses, new businesses have been registered in Jamaica since 2016. And these are, many of these people are people who are just coming back to Jamaica to do business after Michael Manley run them out. You really believe that these business people would not donate to the JLP, knowing that the PMP can just come in with Mr. Finsack boss, and within 1 month everything can go back to zero?
You know, protecting Jay, I said that the other day. I said so many investors are here, right? They see the trajectory, they see where the country is going. Would they really sit down, not participate, not doing anything, and, you know, see where the political landscape is, and would really sit aside and, you know, allow the PMP to come back? I don't think so. I really don't think
Any
so.
money when I reach it, it will soon come.
It will reach on time.
It's very financing to run the election.
It's very difficult to not see the governing party based on the work that this government is doing, based on all the major organizations record the profits that they're talking about. It's very difficult to see the government not being financially balanced.
It's how you spend it though, because I get the feeling that
yes, it's how we spend it.
The organization has to be properly financed, you know, and that these runners and people on the ground, that if they are not motivated, it's not likely that they'll give you that 100%.
As I said on another live this morning, the long-time laborite them, especially the workers in the party, who used to, back in the day with the bagger spending with money dash left, right and center, and all sort of passa and nastiness and run up and down and scream and shout, they are becoming concerned because some of them, up to this point, them only know the 1 in 20 and all they say. They don't understand the science of politics and that the science of politics has changed.
Yes.
So the approach, therefore, must change.
Yes, but are you spending time to educate? Is there political education happening?
The political education that the Jamaican citizen needs is going to take about 25-30 years to
resonate.
We're talking about the party workers, though, you know.
Yeah, man, even them you can't go educate them. You just have to just try and bring them along. When you meet with them, when the different managers were managing different teams meet with them, then just have to just share with them the direction where party go and just encourage them to come along, because to approach re-education just so, it is like pulling teeth. Because
are they loyal Labour Party supporters?
They are. But we have to consider the profile of the Jamaican citizen who participate in election. Those who support the Jamaican Labour Party are usually independent people. Exactly. When they can tell you, say, me have my job already, or me have my business, so I don't have to do this, or help me, I help. While the PMP now need, the PMP supporter need the PMP if you come in a power, because them name out of the pork barrel.
What?
You know? So the difference is we have to understand the profile.
Yeah, but you see exactly what is happening with that KCMC. That is exactly what is
Right,
happening.
that's how them live. The PMP literally live off of the coffers. So JLP no do that.
Have we brought the Jamaican people along?